Your teenager just slammed the door and said they hate you. Again, 3 years ago, they crawled into your bed and told you everything. Now, you're lucky if you get a grunt or a random TikTok shoved in your face. And the scariest part, something shifted and you don't even know when it happened. One day it was, "Can I sleep in your bed?" Now it's, "Get out of my room." In this video, I'll walk you through 7 parenting mistakes that quietly and permanently damage your relationship with your teen. Mistakes most parents don't realize until it's too late. Mistake number 1, the privacy invasion. You read their texts, check their browser, go through their room. You demand passwords like you're running a CIA sting operation. You tell yourself it's about safety. But really, it's about control. And let's be honest, your anxiety's in the front seat, flooring the gas, swerving through imaginary danger like it's Fast and Furious. Parent edition, you think you're being a responsible parent, but what you're actually teaching them is that privacy is earned, not given, and that you don't trust them to make good decisions. Here's the thing. Teenagers are supposed to separate from you psychologically. It's how they become their own person. When you violate their privacy, you're basically trying to duct tape their identity to yours. They learn you can't handle their independence, so they start hiding, not because they're bad, but because it feels like the only way to breathe. This is how you accidentally raise a world-class liar. Not because they're sneaking out to wild parties, but because lying becomes the price of privacy. Instead of learning to trust their own judgment, they start managing your anxiety like they're your unpaid therapist. Years later, they won't remember what you found in their room. They'll remember how you made their need for privacy feel like a betrayal. Here's the shift. Trust first. Verify when necessary. Privacy should be the default, not a reward they have to earn. If you're worried about something serious, deal with that directly. But don't surveil their entire life hoping to catch a red flag like a parenting version of CSI. Respecting their space builds trust. And when the big stuff actually happens, they're more likely to come to you because they know you see them as a person, not a problem to monitor. Mistake number 2, the emotional hostage situation. Your teen makes a choice you don't like, so you go cold. Silent treatment, long sighs, passive-aggressive muttering like, "After everything I've done." You're not parenting, you're emotionally ghosting. And whether you realize it or not, you're teaching them this. Your love is conditional on their compliance. Teenagers are supposed to test boundaries. That's literally how they figure out who they are. But when you make their growth about your feelings, you're forcing them into an impossible choice. Be who they are or keep you emotionally stable. So when that happens, they either rebel because I can never make you happy anyway, so what's the point? Or they shrink, becoming chronic people pleasers who manage your emotions instead of learning to manage their own. Either way, they learn that love comes with strings attached. And look, we've all had those moments where your teen says something wild like, "I'm dropping out to be a YouTuber," and your inner voice is already Googling boarding schools on Mars. But instead of panic parenting like a Victorian ghost, "I gave you life and this is how you repay me," try just breathing. Because here's the truth, your emotional reactions are your job. Their job is to grow up, not to tiptoe around your hurt feelings. When they mess up, correct the behavior, not the bond. They need to know that your love is solid, even when your approval isn't. You're not a vending machine where compliance earns affection tokens. You're the Wi-Fi, stable, always on, and only noticed when you mysteriously vanish. Quick sticko favor before we keep going. If this is hitting home, or you've already winced at a few of these, tap that subscribe button. Apparently, 97% of people watch these videos like your teen eats snacks. Secretly, silently, and with zero commitment. Already subscribed? You deserve a teenager who says thank you without being asked. All right, let's keep going. Because the next mistake, it's the one even parents walk straight into without realizing it. Mistake number 3, the expertise assumption. You were a teenager once, so naturally, you think you get it. You survived puberty, high school drama, bad haircuts, How different could it really be? You were a teen before. Social media turned every moment into a performance. School shootings became lockdown drills. College cost more than a house. Mental health was something people whispered about, not talked about. But instead of acknowledging that, you call it just drama and act like their panic attack is just low blood sugar and too much Taylor Swift. Here's what that teaches them. Their struggles aren't real. Their world doesn't matter. You're not a safe person to open up to. This is how parents end up completely blindsided when their kids break down, drops out, or spirals. The signs were there, but you were too busy saying, "When I was your age, we walked 10 miles to school and liked it." Spoiler, no one liked it. Want to stay close? Get curious. Ask what it's really like to grow up in their world. Listen without correcting. Validate without comparing. Because when you try to parent the 2025 version of yourself, you'll miss the 2025 version of your kid. And if you're still not convinced, ask yourself this. Would you want teenage you to be raised by someone quoting MySpace wisdom and thinking TikTok is the sound a clock makes? Mistake number 4, the achievement obsession. Every conversation becomes a performance review. How were your grades? Did you study enough? Have you signed up for anything that sounds impressive to Harvard? You track their GPA like a stock portfolio, but forget to ask how they're actually doing. And when their mental health crashes, you're shocked the NASDAQ of your child is in free fall. And slowly, they stop telling you. Because what's the point if all you care about is the outcome? Here's what this teaches them. Your love is earned through success. Your attention comes with strings. They're not enough unless they're excelling. Some kids burn out chasing gold stars. Others give up entirely. If I'm not valedictorian by Tuesday, why even try? And both groups learn the same thing. I can't come to you when I'm struggling because disappointing you might break me. But here's what they really need. Someone who sees them, not just their stats. Ask about their thoughts, not just their test scores. Get curious about what lights them up, not just what checks a box. If your teen says they want to be a juggler or a YouTuber, maybe don't panic like they just confessed to joining a cult. Because when they know they're loved for who they are, they stop being so afraid of falling short. Mistake number 5, the problem minimization. Your teen says, "My friends are icing me out." And before they even finish, you're already in therapist mode. "Don't worry, honey. In 5 years, none of this will even matter." Or worse, sounds like teenage drama. "You'll be fine." You think you're helping them zoom out and gain perspective, like you're the Dalai Lama of middle school heartbreak. But from their point of view, you just hung a giant closed sign on your emotional availability. What feels small to you might be earth-shattering to them because they don't have your decades of perspective. Yet, to them, this is the big stuff. And when you brush it off, they learn, my feelings only count if you agree with them. That's how kids stop opening up. They figure, if it's not a crisis, why bother? So they bottle it up like emotional soda. And one day, the cat flies off during dinner because you asked if they did the dishes. Here's the shift. Don't minimize. Don't solve too fast. Validate first. Process second. Say something like, "Wow, that sounds awful. Do you want to vent or help figuring it out?" Let them decide what kind of support they need. Think of yourself as the emotional Uber. Are we going somewhere, or are we just sitting in a car and crying? Because when they feel safe being vulnerable with you, they're way more likely to keep coming back. Let's keep going, because the next one, it's the reason even great parents lose their teens' trust without realizing it. Mistake number 6, the emergency response only. You only really tune in when the house is metaphorically on fire. Grades are slipping, you're all ears. They're crying in their room. Now you're suddenly unavailable. But when things are calm, you're folding laundry like it's life or death, answering emails like you're curing cancer, and pulling a vanishing act worthy of every sitcom dad from the 90s, minus the laugh track and the soft piano redemption music. But here's what that teaches your teenager. I only matter when something's wrong. They start associating your attention with crisis, which means 2 things can happen. They either hide their problems to avoid stressing you out, or they start staging emotional fires just to get a hit of connection. You ignored my science project? Fine. I'm dyeing my hair purple and texting my ex. That should do it. Not exactly ideal. Connection shouldn't be a fire drill. The real relationship work happens during the boring moments, the car rides, the late night snack runs, the casual, "How was your day?" that you actually listen to. If you only show up when there's a crisis, you become the emotional equivalent of an emergency room. Necessary, but not somewhere they go unless something's broken. Instead, be the coffee shop. Low stakes, always open, chill music, no appointment needed. Bonus points if you occasionally serve snacks. In this last one, even the kindest, most attentive parents fall into it, and it quietly pushes their teen away without them ever noticing. Remember when Saturday mornings meant giggles in your bed, not closed doors? Mistake number 7, the control obsession. You try to control everything. Their grades, their attitude, their friendships, their phone habits, even the number of eye rolls per hour. You think you're guiding. They feel like they're on house arrest for the crime of being a teenager. And the more you tighten the grip, the more they squirm, hide, rebel, or go full Mission Impossible just to text a friend. Because here's the truth. You can't control your teen into becoming a healthy adult. You can only connect with them into becoming one. When every conversation turns into a battle about hoodies, Snapchat streaks, or who they sat next to at lunch, you stop being a parent and start being a micromanaging boss. With worse Wi-Fi, this creates 2 outcomes. A teen who gets sneaky and lies like a Netflix spy, or one who never trusts themselves to make a single decision without calling you first. From college, neither is the goal. Instead, focus on what you can control, your boundaries, your values, the environment you create. Say things like, "In this house, we speak to each other with respect. Here's how we handle mistakes. I trust you, and I'm still the parent." Teenagers need room to stretch, stumble, and occasionally wear socks with sandals. That's how they build muscle. Your job isn't to steer every step. It's to stay close enough that when they fall, they know exactly who's there to help them back up. Hit like if you've ever tried your best and still got a teenage eye roll so intense it caused a small earthquake.